Shalom. Giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua Shem Kakwadash. I was making a recording and I forgot to put the mic in my mouth, so I had to cut it short. But the Spirit was working with me. Anyway, we're just going to do it all over again. The first precept that I went to. Oh, by the way, I'm going to entitle this GMS Thinking Out Loud because I'm going to hit different subjects. The first precept that I went to was Isaiah chapter 13. And I went to the 12th verse. Oh, let me do it this way. Isaiah 13. And I want to breeze through the whole chapter, but I'll come back to that. Let's see where the Spirit leads me. The verse I wanted was verse 12. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Now, Ophir is America, and I'm going to prove that by the blue letter. Ophir is our pa yar, or awap yar. It says Ophir, reducing to ashes. So what's going to be reduced to ashes? Babylon the Great. So Ophir or Awap Yar means reduced to ashes of uncertain derivation. So what's going to be reduced to ashes? Babylon the Great. So this is an omen because ultimately what's going to happen to Babylon? It will be reduced to ashes, stubble. It says right here, B, a land or city in southern Arabia, in Solomon's trade route where gold eventually was traded for goods. Well, it was beyond Arabia. It was beyond the Middle East. It was America. It was on the other side of the planet. So Solomon had a great navy. Matter of fact, let me do this. Okay, First Kings 10, verse 11. And the navy also of Hiram, because he built Solomon's house, and he also built the house of the Most High, the temple, that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir great plenty of almug trees and precious stones. Give me a second here. And I'll come back to this. Let me just click on that. Start from the 10th verse. 1 Kings 10, verse 10. And she gave the king an 100, and the she is the queen of Sheba, Makeda, and 20 talents of gold and of spices, very great store and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these which the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon because of his wisdom. She was in awe of this man because this man was Yahushua. And he had a little piece of the kingdom on earth, which was 40 years. It said of King Solomon, or to King David by the prophet, that was the prophet Nathan, that your son's kingdom will be an everlasting kingdom. So the kingdom been on pause really for more than 1,000 years. We're talking almost 3,000 years. The kingdom of heaven was put on pause. So when the Lord comes back and shows himself, the kingdom of heaven will no longer be on pause. It will no longer be suspended. So we only got 40 years of an everlasting kingdom. It says 11 verse again, and the navy also of Hiram, which he was a Canaanite, that brought gold from Ophir, because it was the Hiram and the seagoers, which were Canaanites. The best seagoers were Canaanites. You know, as in the Greek, not the Philistines, Phoenicians, the Greek way of saying Canaan. You can look it up. Go to Google, put in the word Phoenician. It'll tell you that's a Greek form of saying Canaan. And it'll give you the ancient Hebrew word Canaan. It says 11 verse again. And the navy also Hiram that brought gold from Ophir, America. Also, Brazil is a Hebrew word, barazal, which means iron. Now I'm gonna have to give credit to the Sakari because they came up with that, and it made all the sense in the world. So I did some research on it, and you even had Edomites they knew that Ophir, they called it America Ophir, and Brazil, they knew that Brazil, barazal, was a Hebrew word meaning iron, because that was one of the natural resources of Brazil, besides many other things. So we knew to come, the Northern Kingdom knew to come over here to the Americas because Solomon and I believe Jehoshaphat, let me go back. Let me come back. So even after Solomon, Jehoshaphat made ships of Tarshish to go to Ophir, Babylon, which was a paradise at that time, for gold, but they went not, for the ships were broken at Ezon Gabar. Now those ships were Solomon's ships. That was Solomon's navy. All right. Let me take the word navy. Give me a second here. Like I said, I didn't put anything together. I'm just going by the Spirit. So I put in the word navy. Okay, it says, and King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezon Gabar. Now, when Jehoshaphat knew about that, and he said, we're going to go to America too. But when they went to get the ships were not kept up. So they couldn't go. It says, which is beside Eloth on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom, because Edom were captives under us at that time. And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, which were Canaanites, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea. So the greatest seagoers before Columbus, before Prince Henry the Navigator, it was the Canaanites. It said, had knowledge of the sea with the servants of Solomon. So, so you had Israelites go, but they relied on the Canaanites, which was sea shipmen, to go over there, and they had that cycle. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me try something. Okay, I got to go up further. A 25th verse. 1 Kings 9, verse 25. And three times, and three times in a year did Solomon offer burnt offerings and peace offerings upon the altar which he had built unto the Lord, and he burnt incense unto the altar that was before the Lord. So he finished the house. Let me try this 3 times in a year. Bear me for a minute. Okay, it just sends me back to that same precept. And 3 times a year did Solomon offer burnt offerings. And in that 3 times in a year, let me go back. Bear me for a minute. It says, and King Solomon made a navy of ships in Ezon Gabar, which is beside Elah. So this was a trade route. It was it would go back and forth to get riches. So, like I said, the Northern Kingdom knew, pursuant to 2 Kings 17 and the Apocrypha, 2 Ezra 13, they knew where to go. They knew about the new region, another region. So now I want to go back to Isaiah. Bear me for 1 minute. Isaiah 13. Let me go to Isaiah 13 and 12 again. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than of the golden wedge of Ophir. So now we know Ophir is in America. I'm going to try something here. Take the word Ophir. Let me go to Google. Ophir. America. Okay, let me see how I'm going to do this. Let me go, is Ophir America? Let's see what happens. This is basically called researching. I did videos on this. Ooh, this is interesting. Wait a minute. King Solomon's gold came from Peru. Let's go to that, which is part of the Americas. This is the New York Times, baby. New York Times. King Solomon's gold came from Peru, says Austrian legendary land of Ophir, which furnished metal for the temple, has been variously located. Some scientists hold it was in South Africa. The mention of Ophir, the land of gold, whose mines contributed to the splendor of King Solomon's temple, still stirs the fancy since Alexandria times. Fortune hunters and archaeologists and explorers have sought the country of ivory, apes, and peacocks. Too many speculations on the exact location of Ophir. A new one has just been added. Let me see what's going to happen if I hit this. They said it was Peru. It's going to take me to I guess I gotta. They want to play games. Let me come back to that. So they're gonna play games with you. King Solomon's gold came from Peru. Which is in America. Let's try this one. Ophir, the land of King Solomon's mine, Scientific American. Let's see what that says. Ophir, the land of King Solomon's mines. Yeah, they want to play. I guess you gotta subscribe. We're still researching. They said it was Africa, but now they're beginning to say that it was America. And there was an article that I found when I even forgot when I did the video. Okay, so the Indians who came from Ophir, prophecy and natural, whatever, some of them situated Ophir directly in America, e.g., in Peru. The Indians who came from Ophir prophesied in natural history in early modern Brazil, which is part of the Americas. So they mentioned Brazil and they mentioned Peru. Okay, American Indians and Jews, a common ancestry. Okay, Brazil as the, let me do it this way. Okay, dialogues of the great things of Brazil characterizes Brazil as a plaza or place, the marketplace of the world, which means iron by Rizal. Brazil would have attracted at a certain point in its early colonial history part of the nobility of Portugal because they came. That's why they came to Americas, the Americans, who married there and became related by kinship to the inhabitants of the land, so that so they saying that they even intermarried with the Israelites over here. Noblest blood circulated among everyone, and since in Brazil different kinds of people came from many regions in order to trade. Remember, Solomon had a trade route that went uh, around the world. And one of the places was the Americas, not just Babylon, but Canada, America, Central America, and North America. The origins, inhabitants of the land with whom everyone trades and who are generally endowed with many skills because they benefit from the nature of the climate and the favorable sky. The original inhabitants of the land take take from the foreigners everything they estimate as value, and with this, they they accrue excellent savings on which they can rely when necessary. Let me read a little bit more. These original inhabitants, the Aboriginal people of Brazil, which was one of the tribes of the northern kingdom of Israel, because who did they encounter? They encountered Israelites because the Israelites are already here because they knew to come here. I don't want to sound like a broken record. During the time of Solomon, whom Brandao depicts as provident and skillful traders actively engaging in business with the colonizers, are the people whose origin and investigates in relation to the Old Testament history of the Jews. They wasn't Jews. They were the tribe of Asher. They were the tribe of Gad. They were the tribe of Reuben. It says he investigates in relation to the Old Testament history of the Jews, the Brazilian Indians. They're telling you right there that they're the Israelites, are the descendants of an ancient tribe. Ooh, are descendants of an ancient tribe sent by King Solomon to celebrate land of Ophir, which is the Americas, in order to fetch wood for the construction of the temple of the Most High. So the truth is out there. The debate about the origin of the American Indians are prominent among early, and the Indians, there's plenty of documents that the Indians spoke Hebrew and their customs were based solely on the customs of the Israelites. Among early modern authors concerned with the discovery of the New World, and not only among them, even Paracelsus was acquainted with the issue, and in the Astronomia Magna, Magna meaning great, entertained the idea that the inhabitants of the New World were not necessarily descended from Adam, from the Adam Genesis 14. Gregorio Garcias origin los de los indios del Nuevo Mundo, New World, the lost Indians of the New World, y Indias occidentals, on the origin of the Indians of the New World and the West Indies. Yeah, what the hell happened? You see?
So this is Super Beats.
Wait a minute. See, this is the demons. No, I done lost this, man. Are we gonna come back to this? Please forgive me. Let's see if we can do it this way. Okay, now I gotta do it like this. Yeah, the spirit was working. The spirit was working. You know what I gotta do? I gotta. Damn, I hate this, but that's okay. Okay, I found it. All praises to Yahweh Shemal Shabbat Shemakakodash. Okay, it says both authors related the American Indians to the Jews, and unlike is a hard word. They don't defend pre-Demite whatever uh, theories, but for Garcia, the relationship was seen as something derisive, as seems to be the case with most of the authors of the period whose opinion he reproduced. For instance, he examines the length of many moral defects that would be shared by Indians and Jews. So they're trying to say that the Indians and the Jews, the so-called Jews, got together. But they're saying right here that these people that they encountered are Israelites. It says this is explicitly shown, for instance, as a passage in which he tells the history of astrological predictions about Brazil's discovery and its importance to the Portuguese kingdom. Let me try this. Brandao doesn't relate the discovery of these characters and the bones to his speculation, about the origin of the Brazilian Indians, which are Israelites. But both topics are very representative of the literature about the origin of the American Indians in the period. The similarities between the letters of the Hebraic alphabet and Indian drawings, the fact that both Jews and Indians had the habit of building their graves near mountains. Yeah, because they call sepulchres. And Gregorio Garcia treaties these treaties, there are chapters specifically dedicated to each of those two ideas. Let me see if there's some more. But there you have it. Okay, let me try this. Both Americans and Brazilians are descendants of Noah and Adam. The, the Africans descend from Ham, who settled in Africa a very long time ago. More proof that they're Israelites. Okay, let me read this here. He believes the Brazilian Indians are more modern. They would have started to inhabit the land later than the Africans after started to inhabit Africa. Brandao now advances his particular theory about Ophir, which is America, Babylon. The place is referred to in the Old Testament, but there is no indication about its precise location. It was where much later than the colonizers of Africa by Ham and his descendant, King Solomon and King Hiram of Bith, Canaanite, sent people from Israel to fetch gold, silver, and wood for the construction of the temple, of the Most High. Other authors addressing the issue of the origins of the American Indians speculate about the history. Some of them situate Ophir directly in America. Did you hear that? Let me read that again. Other authors addressing the issue of the origin of the American Indians speculated about the history. Some of them situate Ophir directly in America. E.g., example given in Peru. So look, Esau came over here. Esau discovered the New World, so they know who they encountered. Wow. Okay, this argument has a fundamental role in the Brandau's explanation of the origin of the Brazilian Indians. It is what eventually enabled the connection between Brazilians and Jews. Brazilians and Jews. So you know what? I'll leave this in the description box if I remember. But I mean, when you do that type of research, you find out things. You find out Esau knows things that they're not telling us, man. And this is how we know that Esau knows exactly who we are. So let's go back to Isaiah 13, verse 2. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Now that you went through all of that, you know that Ophir is America. which means reduced to ashes. And that's exactly what's going to happen to this place. Now, the real reason why I wanted to come to this verse, I will make a man more precious than fine gold. And that's going to fulfill Isaiah. Let me go to that. Isaiah 4. Isaiah 4, verse 1. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man. Now, if you're thinking about when is this going to happen, did it already take place? When is it going to take place? It's going to take place in between this time period on into the kingdom. Because there's going to come a time where you're going to have one man. Hey, Shalom, let me call you back. All right, Shalom. That was a brother call. Anyway, it says, in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So that's getting ready to happen. There was a video that was put up by Yahweh of the elder of the Hawaiian camp. Beautiful brother, does a lot of great videos. He's showing this Jake woman with blonde hair. I got an idea that she's probably dealing with Edomites and Jake. But here she is, has 2 jobs, and she's breaking down how after she pays all her bills, she ain't got nothing left. She ain't even got enough to buy a box of Cheez-Its, you know, which went from $2.99 to $4. I'm pretty sure you saw that video because I did a little take on it. And I had just got finished watching the elder Ariala. He was doing a video on the same subject and showing a woman crying. And then he was talking about how there's going to come a time where you women are going to be flocking to certain men, you know, for answers, and not just for answers, but to deal with these men. And you're gonna learn to share. You're gonna learn to understand that one man is going to have more than one woman, because if you buck up against that, you can get kicked out. You can get kicked out that house. You know, things are getting bad. I want to do a video earlier, but it was going to go into too many things. It's dealing with the economic situation in Turkey, where, matter of fact, let me see if I can find it. I might have to pull up another tab. Okay, let me try this. Let me try this. They put up Turkey. Put up crash. Let me see what happens. Let me try Turkey lira. Lira crash. Let's see what happens. Okay, it says here, Al Jazeera, why is Turkey's lira, which is their dollar, crashing and will currency crisis worsen? New York Times, our money has no value. Frustration rises in Turkey at lira crisis. This was 1 day ago. Turkey's central bank sells foreign reserves to stem a lira crash. Let me go to news. What they're suffering from is hyperinflation. I spoke about this before. And so why is Turkey's lira crashing and will currency crisis worsen? It says once again, Turkey is in the throes of a currency crisis. The lira, which is their dollar, has lost more than 40% of its value against the United States dollar. What that means is if you were living in Turkey and you had to buy something for $1,000 and you go to buy another one of those things for $1,000, it's going to cost you $1,400. That's not inflation, that's hyperinflation. And that very same thing is coming to the States. It's coming to Ophir. Let me see here. Let me come back. Bear me for a minute. There's all this nonsense coming up. So they're doing bad, but guess what? Study them. You know, watch the news as far as Turkey is concerned. Because what they're experiencing now, you're going to experience in the near future. It says here, this was 8 days ago, and it's getting worse every day. Turkey is going its own way on inflation. The lira is crashing. Turkey is going its own way. The lira on inflation, the lira is crashing. So this is the big news, man. So what you see happening over there is going to happen over here. It says that the lira stabilized on Wednesday, but suffered a huge fall against the U.S. dollar on Tuesday. The lira fell more than 15%. It says the lira stabilized on Wednesday, but suffered a huge fall against the U.S. dollar on Thursday. The lira fell more than 15% against the dollar. Everything is compared to the dollar because the dollar is the world reserve currency. You know, when you trade on the international market, you have to trade in dollars. You have to take your dollar, convert it into U.S. dollars or Federal Reserve note, and then buy with the U.S. dollar. The Turkish currency has lost 40% of its value this year. That's bad. That's called inflation. That's called hyperinflation. Anything you was able to buy for 100, now it's going to cost you, what is it, $140. Anything you buy for 1,000, now it's going to cost you $1,400. And I told y'all what to do. I told y'all what to do. And when this comes to the state, what's going to be fulfilled is James the 5th chapter. And I went through that many times. It mentions about fraud. The laborers that have reaped down your fields. It speaks about fraud, kept back by fraud, kept back by fraud. So hyperinflation is a form of fraud. So anyway, let's come back. It says, I told you I was going to jump around. Isaiah 4, verse 1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. So what I did was I went to let me go, where's Google at? Where's Google? Okay, that's Google Maps, which I don't want. This is in California. How did I get there? Let me do it this way. Let me go to Google. Okay, this is what I did. Commentary. Oh, by the way, the Omeric, whatever you call it, the Omicron, whatever you call it, variant is just made it to the U.S. in California because somebody from South Africa flew into California. I believe it was either L.A. or San Francisco. Comment E and commentary. I'm gonna show you something. How do we teach Isaiah 4:1? We teach it's literal. It's there's going to be many women taking hold of one man. And I open up with Isaiah 13:12. A man shall be more precious than fine gold. So this is what I did. Now check this out. I went to the commentary just to see what Esau, these so-called Bible scholars, have to say. And they say pretty much the same thing the way we teach it. This is Ellicott's commentary for English readers. And in that day, 7 women, the chapter, the vision wrongly separates this verse from the foregoing. It comes as the climax of the chastisement of the daughters of Zion, as the companion picture to Isaiah 3, verse 6, which says in part, when a man shall take hold of his brother, of the house of his father, saying, you have closed, be you our ruler, and let this ruin be under your hand. So you got the kid out there, everybody's struggling. You got the kid out there, you might be dealing drugs, and you're gonna have to rely on him. It says, or you might be anything. It says, as men sought eagerly, yet in vain, a protector, some women should seek for a husband. So the Jake woman, they're gonna humble themselves. They're gonna swallow their pride quick when all hell breaks loose. They're gonna swallow their pride quick. Watch how quick they become feminine. Because our woman is completely out of order. They don't cook. They don't got the house is a goddamn mess. And to the point where Jake don't even want to deal with the Jake woman. When I say the Jake woman, the Judite woman, man. You got Jake out there getting with Ephraimite woman, Simeonite woman, Edomite woman. These women are the other nations as well. I mentioned Edom. It said those who have been wooed and courted. In other words, you caught a woman, right? Didn't Isaac sport Rebecca? It said he sported her, meaning he was going on a date with her. They were getting to know each other. And had been proudly fastidious, should supplicate in eager rivalry the 7 women. The one man implies a land populated by war. That's why I said in Isaiah 13 and 12, a man shall be more precious than fine gold, because there's going to be a shortage of men. So there's going to this thing of you cheating on me, a woman talking about that's not going to be no more. That's not going to be no more. There's going to be a great shortage of men. And so you women, 20 women going to have to cleave under one man by war, and so making polygamy natural, because it's not natural now. You deal with your woman and you have another woman, she find out about it. If she suspects it, if anything, she gonna deal with you. She gonna confront you, or she ain't gonna say nothing and deal with another dude. And the Jake woman is known for that shit, man. They're loose. So, we're looking at the Ephraimite woman, the ones that have not been contaminated by the Jake woman. We're looking after the Ephraimite woman, the Simeonite woman, the Issacharite woman, the woman of Asher, maybe some Elamite woman, some Arab woman. Because in the kingdom, we're going to have women of the other nations, man. Okay? Because there's no law against that. For the protection of marriage, so her name will be what? Not be reproached. And that not on the unusual conditions of having food and clothing found for them. Oh, that's Exodus 21, verse 10. That's a great chapter right there. It says, if he take him another wife, that shows you right there you can have more than one woman, pursuant to the law. That's natural. And that's going to be natural in the kingdom. You ain't going to see one man with one woman. You're going to see one man with many women, and they're going to have many children. If he take Exodus 21, verse 10, if he take him another wife, her food, her remnant, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. The duty of marriage is having sex with her, making babies, and that's all we're going to be doing in the kingdom. This Most High said, be fruitful and multiply. That's why so many people are leaving the Christian church and they're becoming Israelites. It says, take away our reproach, better as an imperative, take thou away the reproach is that of being childless. From the Jewish standpoint, that was not only the great sorrow, but the great shame of womanhood. What is that? Second, I'll go to it in a minute. I believe that's second Timothy, if I'm not mistaken, 5. Guide the house, implying as men thought a sin of which that was the chastisement. And she conceived and bore a son and said, the Most High have taken away my reproach. That's Genesis 30, verse 23. So you're reproached, and that's also in Luke, I believe it's Luke, the 2nd chapter, when Elizabeth was pregnant with her husband. She said that my reproach is taken away. Like I said, our women are all, a lot of our women, they go both ways too. They ain't gonna say it. They'll get tired of a man, the last man that they dealt with, and then they'll get with their girlfriend, and they'll be walking out, they'll go shopping like their husband and wife, but it's really wife and wife with a couple of children from a previous man that she dealt with. And then that don't work out. And she hey, my sister did that. That's why the Most High took her ass out. She was dealing with men. She'd get mad at a man and get with a woman. Then she'd get mad at things wouldn't work out with a woman, and she'd get back with a man. And the Most High took her out, man. And then when they came and said, "You gonna go to the," I said, "Nope." they ain't call. That was years ago. They ain't call. My family cut me off pretty much. You know, because we understand death, man. Hey, I'll tell you a story. Apostle Gabar, his mother had passed, but he saw his mother a couple of years before she had passed, and they were setting up the funeral, and they called him and said, "When you gonna come?" He said, "I'm not coming." And his sister just cut him off after this day because they don't understand death, man. Anyway, let me go to Cambridge Bible for Schools and Colleges, Isaiah 4, verse 1. A companion picture to Isaiah 3, verse 6, and I read that. The male population are in search of a ruler. The woman in search of a husband. Or the woman, WONMEN, woman, plural. We're quoted by whatever, Chinese, whatever the hell you say it. It says, the verse therefore represents an episode in that scene of anarchy. Now, what does the word anarchy mean? Second Ezra, the 15th chapter is anarchy. Was that Second Ezra 15, where it speaks about they shall not regard their kings? In other words, they're not going to acknowledge government. So let me go over here. Let me open up something. Let me go open this up. Okay, I didn't want that, but bear me for a minute. Okay, here we go. Anarchy definition. Anarchy is a society being freely constituted without authorities or a governing body. It may also refer to a society, a group of people that entirely reject a set hierarchy. That's let me get that for you. If I can find the tab, I'll bring it up. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, let me see if I can bring this up. Okay, this is anarchy right here. 15. It's around about okay, the 16th verse. Let me start the 12th verse. So this is second Second Ezra 15, verse 12. You got to read this whole chapter, you know. Egypt shall mourn, which is America, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague. This new variant, the Omicron, which is, I believe, that's the 15th letter of the Greek alphabet, because they had a delta. The next one was a delta. Then it skipped a bunch of Greek alphabets to go all the way down to the 15th Greek letter, a Greek character, which is the Omicron, which is now over here in the US. And it's going to spread. It's going to come over here. It's going to go to these major places. It hit California. It's going to hit New York. It's going to hit some of these major places. And people are not going to regard it. They're not going to regard it, man. They're not doing it now. These various countries, they're protesting all over the world, but they don't put it, they don't give it to you in the mainstream media. They don't talk about it in CNN because they don't want you to know what's going on around the world. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and we know what Egypt is, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague, and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. Ultimately, the Most High is going to bring fire on this place. Ophir, meaning reducing to ashes. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting and hell, and with a fearful consolation. Woe to the world and to them that dwell therein. We're in that time now. We're in the time of 2nd Ezra 15 chapter. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up against another, and swords in their hand. The modern day sword is the gun. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, the government, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So these governors and the presidents, the prime ministers, they're seeing that the people don't give a damn about them. They say they're saying they're gonna go their own way. They're gonna go their own way. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. It's like that now, pretty much, and it's gonna get worse. And in the midst of this, that's when you're gonna have women humbling themselves, and they're gonna look for men to take care of them. So we're in that time, man. We are definitely in that time. Let me go to Isaiah 13, and I'll go through that real quick. The bird, Isaiah 13:1, the bird in Babylon was Isaiah the son of Amos did see, lift you up upon the high mountain. The high mountain is this government, Esau's government. America is pretty much the capital. Exalt the voice unto them. What does that mean, exalt the voice unto them? When we go out on the highways and the byways, pursuant to Matthew's 22nd chapter, and there's many other precepts about going out on the highways and byways. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. We're already in the gates of the nobles. They know about us already. They said, I have commanded my sanctified ones, which are holy. We were made holy by the angel taking that coal and putting it into our mouth, pursuant to Isaiah the 6th chapter. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, the angels, them, even them that rejoice in my highness. Because who's in the presence of the Most High? The angels. That's in Job 1 and Job 2. They have councils up there. You got angels on the right-hand side and angels on the left-hand side. And you got Satan. He's the head of the left-hand side. And he's in the spiritual realm. Don't you know the Most High, Yahweh Shai, and Satan be having conversations to this day? The noise of a multitude in the mountains are like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. That's down in the valley of decision. the valley of Jehoshaphat. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. That's that coming battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation, which are the missiles, to destroy the whole land. The whole land of what? Babylon. So this whole chapter right here is dedicated. I jump down to the 17th verse. Babylon will fall to the Medes. The Medes represent the Russian. When you go to the land of the Medes and you go further north to the uttermost north, that's Russia, current Russia. It says 17th verse, behold, I will stir up the Medes against, which are the Russians. The original Medes are one of the sons of Japheth, but they took part of that land. It says against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. They're not going to take a bribe. Something's going to happen where the Russians are going to say, we don't want nothing from you. We want to destroy you. Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 38. Their bows, which are the silo, also shall dash them, the young men, to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, which is America, the glory of the kingdom, the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. 20th verse, it shall never be inhabited, which is America, Babylon, neither shall it be dwelt in, lived in. And this goes hand in hand with Revelation 18 chapter, one of my favorite chapters. From generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tents there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. And the only living things that's going to be left on the soil of America are these desert-like creatures, man. So this man is done, man. Anyway, with that, I was a little all over the place, but this was like a various topics, thinking out loud video. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.